Did you know that one of the most beloved fantasy stories of all time was actually written for children? Published way back in 1937, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien has enchanted readers for nearly a century, and guess what? It sold over 100 million copies worldwide. But here's what's even more amazing. This charming tale of Bilbo Baggins's unexpected adventure actually came before Tolkien's legendary Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's not just a book, it's the gateway to an entire fantasy universe that's still growing in popularity, with films, games, and fans all over the world. And even after all these years, The Hobbit is still in print, proving that true magic never fades. Before the world knew the PlayStation 5, there was the OG, the PlayStation 1. Released in Japan back in 1994, Sony's first gaming console didn't just enter the gaming scene, it revolutionized it. By the time production ended in 2006, the PS1 had sold over 102 million units worldwide, making history as the first home console to ever cross the 100 million mark. Thanks to its CD-based games and groundbreaking 3D graphics, the PS1 didn't just entertain, it defined a generation. For many gamers, this wasn't just a console. It was the beginning of an era. When the PlayStation 4 hit the shelves in 2013, no one expected just how big it would become, but Sony knew exactly what they were doing. Fast forward to today, the PS4 has sold over 117 million units globally. Its secret? An unbeatable lineup of exclusive games and online features that kept players connected like never before. The PS4 didn't just compete, it dominated, even as rivals stepped into the arena. With this console, Sony didn't just stay in the game, they led it. Let's rewind to 1989, a time when gaming broke free from the TV screen and fit right into your pocket. Nintendo's Game Boy changed the world of play forever. And when the colorful refresh dropped in 1998, it only got better. Together, the original and Game Boy Color sold over 118 million units worldwide. Bundled with classics like Tetris, this 8-bit handheld wasn't just fun, it was addictive. With long battery life, a compact size, and a game library that defined a generation, the Game Boy ruled the 90s like a true legend. It wasn't just a console, it was a movement in your hands. In 1997, a boy with a lightning-shaped scar stepped onto platform 9 3/4, and into history. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or Philosopher's Stone if you're outside the US, introduced us to the magical world that captivated readers of all ages. Since its release, the first book alone has sold over 120 million copies worldwide. It didn't just launch a book series, it created a global phenomenon, inspiring blockbuster films, and even a brand new TV series on the way. And to think, it all began with a cupboard under the stairs. Before smartphones ruled the world, there was a phone that wasn't just tech, it was style. The Motorola Razr V3, launched in 2004, wasn't just a flip phone, it was a fashion statement. With around 130 million units sold, it became the best-selling flip phone of all time. Its sleek metallic look made it a pop culture icon, and for many, their first ever cell phone. The RAZR didn't just make calls, it made you feel cool. And for a while, it brought Motorola back to the top. In 1943, a little boy from a tiny planet captured the hearts of the entire world. The Little Prince, or Le Petit Prince, isn't just a storybook. It's a masterpiece of emotion and imagination. With over 142 million copies sold and translations in hundreds of languages, it's the best-selling children's book of all time. This poetic French novella takes readers on a journey across planets, but its real message is about love, friendship, and what truly matters. Simple on the surface, yet profoundly deep, The Little Prince speaks to the child in all of us. Back in 2003, before iPhones and Androids ruled the world, there was a phone that felt like the future in your palm. The Nokia 6600 wasn't just another phone. It was one of the first true smartphones to hit the mainstream. With around 150 million units sold, it became a legend before it was discontinued in 2007. Equipped with an advanced operating system, a VGA camera, which was cutting edge at the time, and loaded with business features, it was the go-to phone for professionals and tech lovers alike. In a world just discovering smart tech, the Nokia 6600 stood at the front, sleek, smart, and way ahead of its time. In 2009, smartphones were getting smarter and more expensive, but Nokia had a surprise up its sleeve. The Nokia 5230, also known as the Neuron in some regions, was a budget-friendly touchscreen phone that didn't cut corners where it mattered. With over 150 million units sold, it became one of Nokia's most successful phones ever. It came packed with free GPS navigation, a game-changer for users who didn't want to pay extra for directions. Affordable, reliable, and feature-rich, the 5230 became a fan favorite in price-sensitive markets all around the globe. For many, it wasn't just a phone, it was their first step into the smartphone world. In a world racing toward high-tech smartphones, one phone proved that simplicity still wins. The Nokia 1200, launched in 2007, was as basic as it gets, and that's exactly why people loved it. During its short 2-year run, it sold around 150 million units globally. No fancy apps, just calls, texts, a flashlight, and legendary battery life, features that mattered most, especially in developing countries. Durable, dependable, and ridiculously long-lasting, the Nokia 1200 was more than a phone, it was a lifeline. Home console? Handheld? Why not both? In 2017, Nintendo changed the game, literally, with the launch of the Nintendo Switch, a hybrid console that gave players the best of both worlds. Since its release, the Switch has sold over 150 million units, making it one of Nintendo's greatest hardware triumphs. Play it on the go, play it on the big screen. The Switch offered freedom, flexibility, and fun like never before. Add a powerful lineup of games and constant innovation, and you've got a console that's still going strong 8 years later. The Nintendo Switch didn't just switch things up, it became a global obsession. In 2004, Nintendo gave the world something completely new, a dual-screen revolution that changed handheld gaming forever. The Nintendo DS introduced a touchscreen, voice recognition, and a wild variety of games, from Pokémon to Nintendogs. With around 154 million units sold, it became Nintendo's best-selling product of all time. And it wasn't just for kids. The DS brought in new players with brain games, language apps, and even math training. It was fun, it was smart, and it fit right in your pocket. The DS didn't just entertain, it expanded the definition of gaming. 2000 wasn't just the start of a new millennium, it was the rise of a gaming legend. The Sony PlayStation 2, the console that redefined entertainment, and went on to become the best-selling video game console in history. With over 160 million units sold by 2012, the PS2 didn't just win the console war, it conquered it. Its built-in DVD player turned it into a home entertainment system, a huge deal back in the day. And with a massive game library and a production run that lasted over 12 years, the PS2 wasn't just a console, it was a way of life. Few consoles made history like this one. The PS2 wasn't just the king, it was the gold standard. In 2016, Apple made a bold move, no headphone jack. Controversial? Maybe. Successful? Absolutely. The iPhone 7 and 7 Plus brought in major upgrades, a powerful new camera system, water resistance, and that sleek, minimalist design. Despite the missing headphone port, the iPhone 7 generation sold nearly 160 million units worldwide. Apple doubled down on camera quality, introducing portrait mode on the 7 Plus, a game changer for mobile photography. Fast, reliable, and packed with improvements, the iPhone 7 proved one thing: when Apple takes a leap, millions follow. In 1999, a phone hit the market that didn't just connect people, it became a global obsession. The Nokia 3210 wasn't just a phone, it was a cultural icon, complete with the legendary Snake game. With nearly 160 million units sold, it was one of the most successful phones of its time. Its sleek internal antenna and ultra-durable build made it tough, easy to use, and loved around the world. Whether you were sending your first text or playing Snake for hours, the 3210 wasn't just a gadget, it was a gateway to mobile freedom. In 1830, a young man named Joseph Smith published a book that would shape a global faith. The Book of Mormon, a cornerstone scripture of the Latter-day Saint movement, has since been printed over 192 million times in more than 110 languages. Through decades of missionary work and its deep spiritual significance, the book spread across continents, cultures, and generations. It's not just a religious text, it's a symbol of belief, identity, and outreach for millions of people around the world. With nearly 2 centuries of history, the Book of Mormon stands as one of the most widely distributed books ever printed. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times, and it became one of the best-selling novels of all time. Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities, published in 1859, takes us through the chaos and courage of the French Revolution, with a story set between London and Paris. With an estimated 200 million copies sold, it stands among the greatest literary successes in history. From classrooms to collectors, its timeless themes of sacrifice, justice, and redemption keep it alive, generation after generation. A true classic that proves powerful storytelling never goes out of style. In 2013, Rockstar Games dropped a bomb on the gaming world, and it's still shaking the industry more than a decade later. Grand Theft Auto V, a massive open-world experience set in the chaotic city of Los Santos, isn't just a game, it's a phenomenon. With over 210 million copies shipped, it's one of the best-selling video games in history. And get this, it became the fastest-selling entertainment product ever, crushing records across 3 console generations. Thanks to GTA Online, its world keeps growing, evolving, and bringing players back again and again. More than a game, GTA 5 is a cultural powerhouse that just won't quit. In 2014, Apple made one change that sent shockwaves across the tech world. They went big. The iPhone 6 and 6 Plus introduced larger screens, a sleek new design, and a whole new era of Apple innovation. With over 222 million units sold, they became the best-selling smartphone models of all time. From Tokyo to New York, demand was off the charts. People lined up for hours, even days, to get their hands on one. Big screen, smooth experience, iconic design. The iPhone 6 series wasn't just popular, it was a worldwide sensation. After the massive success of the Nokia 1100, how do you follow it up? Simple, by giving people exactly what they need. Released in 2005, the Nokia 1110 was built for reliability, simplicity, and affordability, and the world loved it. With over 247 million units sold, it nearly matched the record-breaking numbers of its predecessor. It was a lifeline in developing markets, offering clear calls, long battery life, and a build tough enough to survive just about anything. No camera, no touchscreen, just pure performance. The Nokia 1110 was the phone that just worked. The best-selling mobile phone of all time? It's not a smartphone. It's not flashy. But it's legendary. Released in 2003, the Nokia 1100 was the phone that connected the world, one call and text at a time. With around 250 million units sold, it became the most sold handset in mobile history. Simple, affordable, and nearly indestructible, it had just what people needed: calls, texts, a flashlight, and insane battery life. From the heart of rural villages to bustling cities, the Nokia 1100 was the first phone for millions, and the only one they ever needed. What if the best-selling video game in history let you build literally anything you could imagine? Minecraft, the open-world sandbox created by Mojang, has sold a jaw-dropping 300 million copies across PC, consoles, and mobile. That's right, it's the best-selling single video game ever. Why? Because in Minecraft, the only limit is your imagination. Build, survive, explore, solo or with friends. And with constant updates and a global community, the game stays fresh, year after year. Minecraft isn't just a game, it's a world you create. And the world can't get enough of it. 6 colors, 54 squares, and over 43 quintillion combinations, but only one true solution. The Rubik's Cube, invented in 1974 by Hungarian professor Ernst Rubik, is the best-selling toy in history, with around 350 million cubes sold worldwide. It sparked a global puzzle craze in the 1980s, and decades later, it's still blowing minds. Challenging, affordable, colorful, it's more than a toy. It's a brain workout, a collector's item, and for some, a way of life. Whether you solve it in 5 seconds or 5 weeks, the Rubik's Cube proves that simple design can make endless impact. In a world of giants, or maybe just windmills, one man dared to dream bigger. Don Quixote, written by Miguel de Cervantes in the early 1600s, is widely considered the first modern novel, and still the best-selling. With around 500 million copies sold, it's the top-selling single novel of all time. Its tale of idealism versus reality has endured for over 400 years, inspiring authors, artists, and thinkers across centuries. More than a story, Don Quixote is a symbol of imagination, courage, and the timeless power of storytelling. Before open worlds and 4K graphics, there were just falling blocks and endless obsession. Created in 1984 by a Soviet software engineer, Tetris is the best-selling video game franchise in history. With an estimated 520 million copies sold across consoles, computers, and phones, it's a global puzzle powerhouse. From the original Game Boy to mobile apps with hundreds of millions of downloads, Tetris proved that simplicity can be unforgettable. Addictive, challenging, and oddly soothing, it's not just a game, it's a mental workout that stood the test of time. Tetris didn't just fit the pieces, it became a perfect fit in gaming history. It's not a novel. It's not a game. But it's the most used book in one of the world's oldest languages. The Xinhua, a concise Chinese dictionary, holds the title of the best-selling reference book in the world. Since its first edition in 1957, it has sold over 570 million copies, becoming a cornerstone of education in China. Taught in schools and found in nearly every household, it's more than a dictionary. It's a tool that shaped generations of language learners. Clear, compact, and deeply cultural, Xinhua is a symbol of learning, identity, and linguistic pride. Revealed over 1,400 years ago, and still recited, memorized, and cherished by millions every single day. The Quran, the holy book of Islam, was compiled in the 7th century CE, and stands as one of the most widely distributed texts in human history. Though exact numbers are difficult to confirm, it's believed that at least 800 million copies have been sold or gifted worldwide. From the smallest villages to the largest cities, its words are memorized, studied, and reprinted endlessly in every corner of the globe. Guiding over 1 billion Muslims, the Quran isn't just a book, it's a way of life. It was small, read, and in the hands of nearly every citizen in the world's most populous country. Quotations from Chairman Mao Zedong, also known as the Little Red Book, is one of the most widely distributed books ever published. With an estimated 900 million copies printed, It became a symbol of China's Cultural Revolution from 1966 to 1976. At the height of its influence, it was mandatory reading, a political tool, and a powerful symbol of loyalty to the state. Though rooted in one nation's politics, its global impact and iconic status turned it into a historical artifact studied worldwide. More than a book, it was a movement in your pocket. No book has shaped more lives, more cultures, and more centuries than this one. The Bible, a sacred text central to Christianity, is often cited as the best-selling book of all time. With an estimated 5 billion copies printed and distributed, it has reached every corner of the world. Translated into hundreds of languages, taught across generations, and printed in every era, its message of faith, hope, and salvation has crossed time and borders. Whether whispered in prayer or thundered from pulpits, the Bible isn't just a book, it's a spiritual foundation for billions. It's not a book, a game, or a gadget, but it's written on more pages than all of them combined. The BIC Cristal, sleek, simple, and shockingly powerful, is the best-selling pen ever made, and one of the most manufactured objects in human history. Since its debut in 1950, over 100 billion BIC Cristal pens have been sold. That's enough to stretch to the moon and back, and then some. From classrooms to boardrooms, exam halls to doodle pads, this pen became a global icon of everyday creativity. Designed by French engineer Marcel BIC, it's even earned a place in museums of design. Affordable, reliable, universal, the BIC Cristal didn't just write words, it wrote its name into history.